So for years and decades, one of my biggest criticisms of the people that value liberty and non-leftists is that they have had no cultural imprint for a couple of different reasons. They always look at the result, unfortunately, and they say, well, they're keeping us out. And to that, I would say that is not necessarily the case. The problem is two main things as far as why you're losing to them. One being is that for a very long time, you neglected the importance of this. A lot of folks said, well, yeah, that we have the best ideas on our side. We're the smartest people. We have all the think tanks, and we just be cordial and all that, respectful to our enemies, and we're going to win. You found out that was a failed strategy. And long-term game of leftists were to infiltrate these cultural, iconic things. And now they have control of it all, which is why, despite them being objectively wrong on so many other things, they don't even have to properly explain themselves, but they control it, which is just as good enough to having and basically obtaining and sustaining that power that it is they have. But there's another part of that. The difference is, and this is the biggest difference as far as if you wanted to change the tide today. So these cultural representatives that are out there that are not leftists like myself and musicians and that, are out there, a few of us that are out there. A big part of it is that unlike the left, the non-leftists are hell bent on supporting the folks that hate them like a lot. And you know how I talk about the perceived legitimacy? I always use that term, perceived legitimacy, because it's not actually legit. Which I guess that's all legitimacy means anyway. It's that how people see that figure, that thing, that cultural thing. And they have conservatives have this probably the worst of the non-leftist groups, in that they look to these things and they say, well, those are the legitimate ones, right? They don't even half the time give other stuff the time of day, but that's the legitimate thing. It's pop culture. That's pop culture, whether it be in certain sports or whatever it is. That's legitimate. And they look at that and they will fund that despite them dropping nuggets, or rather the controllers saying that we really don't like you. And if people in our space have your positions, we're going to get them out. The only acceptable position it is to have publicly and not have to be ostracized or completely kicked out of this subculture would be being an authoritarian leftist. Nobody is going to lose their job now because they said Black Lives Matter. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But this is where we're at.
Well, another 2 weeks or another week, another set of lovely topics to discuss. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the War on Pop Culture. This is episode 7. I'm Special Agent Spooky Clutter.
I'm Special Agent Carter Sauce.
And tonight, we are once again joined by the King of the Nation. We are also joined by Mr. Danner Bobanner once again.
Hello.
And we have a new special guest, a supporter of the channel, part of the Dark Ether Files Patreon, Mr. Kyle Curtis Flett from Flett Lives. Hello there.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on. Happy to be here. Let's kick some ass tonight.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So tonight we are going to be discussing a handful of topics. We have a very big topic that's very much relevant, I would say, to us as content creators. And just the future of free speech, not just here in America, but everywhere, especially for our friends up in Canada, who right now you have an ass load of truckers that are just kicking ass up there, protesting.
Honk.
And I commend them very much because we need more of that. We need more of that there, here, everywhere.
Yeah.
But tonight we're going to be discussing the Joe Rogan situation. That's going to be the really big topic. Mm-hmm. We're also going to be discussing the.
Sorry,
we're also going to be talking about Mr. Peter Dinklage and Disney having this idea that making or remaking their classic
Content.
animated movies is a good idea. And so far, it's been shit. And, I've heard this term being used before by different people that I watch on YouTube called DOA, Dead on Arrival. And that's what I would say that the Peter Dinklage starring Snow White movie is, Dead on Arrival. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
on that?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up a nice little topic or article. You know how we like to look at the articles on the internet and see what everything's being talked about and such. So here we go. Peter Dinklage calls Disney Snow White remake backward. The actor said on a podcast that he was stunned to learn that Snow White and the Seven Dwarves will be made into a live action film. And I think that I think all of us would have had that same reaction, being stunned that they're remaking another classic animated film.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming.
And ruining.
Yes.
What else is new?
Yeah.
Disney said Tuesday that it was consulting with members of the dwarfism community.
Oh,
I was sort of taken aback, Peter Dinklage said, of finding out that Disney was remaking Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. On Monday's episode of Mark Marone's What the Fuck podcast, the Game of Thrones star Peter Dinklage said he was stunned to learn that Disney was doing a live-action remake of the 1937 animated film Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. And more so, that Disney was proud to announce that it had cast a Latina actress, Rachel Zegler, from West Side Story, as the lead. He says, literally no offense to anything, but I was sort of taken aback, said Dinklage, who won 4 Emmys for his role in the HBO fantasy epic. They were very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. Does anybody know what he's talking about? When he
he's
says
telling
that?
he's basically saying that you're basically fuck, what was the term? Yeah, what was the term? It was not retconning. It's God. How the fuck do I forget about tokenization? Tokenization.
Oh,
Yeah, Snow
There
White
we
is
go.
being tokenized because
Yeah.
the whole thing about Snow White. Well, that's sort of like a hint as to how she is. She has black hair, and she's very pale.
Yeah.
She is a very white woman.
Yes.
Snow White.
White.
Yes.
White,
And,
yeah.
and you're probably wondering where the origins of Snow White came from. It was actually part of a German story that was later adapted by the Brothers Grimms, but it went by the original name, the German name, Schneewitten,
Mm.
which means Snow White in German.
Really.
But yeah, because basically in the story, if you don't know the story of Snow White, what the fuck have you been doing? If you know it, then you already know what it is. Basically, beautiful maiden, jealous of her evil stepmother, the evil queen, wants her dead though because she's beautiful than her. And so basically, if you know the story of Snow White, then you know what I'm talking about. Though it's a fair maiden who has hair black as coal, lips red as blood, and white skin white as snow. It's basically in the title though.
Yep.
It's
So the article continues. He says, you're progressive in one way, but you're still making that expletive. Is he trying to say exploitive? I don't know.
expletive.
Expletive.
Yeah.
It's a
Backward
bleep.
story about 7 dwarves living in a cave together. So if you guys look at our thumbnail, where I have Peter Dinklage, one of his characters that he played, where I said it's not woke enough. You see, that's what this sums up. It says you're progressive in one way, so he's acknowledging that they decided to take, they tokenize a character again. But
Yeah.
then he's like, well, it's not woke enough because you're still telling a backward story about 7 dwarves living in a cave together. Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? He asked. I guess I'm not loud enough. In a statement on Tuesday, a Disney spokesperson said that to avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarvism community. Disney added that the film was still a long way out from production. Mark Webb will direct the new Snow White, and Gal Gadot has been cast as the evil queen.
Huh.
So
Okay, then.
So what the biggest takeaway from this article and just this whole situation is that these people, they're all about pushing the message.
Yeah.
And we all know about the message. It's just annoying to see this happening. Like, we expected at this point. Like, basically expect everything or anything that Disney's ever done in the past, 100 years, pretty much, and just expect it to be remade in some way, shape, or form.
I know Walt is rolling in his grave or his ice grave.
He's, maybe he's in a cryo tube like they depicted in Robot Chicken or
like
Family.
Like I said, he's probably rolling in his ice coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cryo fucked.
What?
He's cryo fucked.
Yeah, pretty much, huh?
Oh,
but so, I mean, this isn't the first time that Disney's remade classic movies. I mean, they did it with The Lion King. They did it with Aladdin, both of which I haven't actually seen, and I had no desire because I saw some of those movies as a kid, and I think most of us here saw these movies when we were younger.
Yeah,
and we enjoyed them. That's part of our childhood.
Oh, yeah.
So here we are in 2022. They're remaking everything. They're rehashing old ideas. Like we said before, Hollywood is creatively bankrupt. They can't come up with something new. They have to keep on rehashing old ideas, and they're just fucking it up. They're not merely remaking it. They're altering it. They're like changing the past, so to speak.
For the
right?
future generation, well, guess what? The future generations are fucked.
There's the
According to
generations.
you're fucked.
They'll do a remake of Hercules, and he'll be a transsexual Martian or something.
Oh my!
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Or
what else are they gonna fuck up, right? What else are they gonna ruin?
If they do an air quote remake of Hercules, I would love to see Arnold Schwarzenegger as Zeus and James Wood as Hades, as a live action Hades.
You can't replace James Woods as Hades.
No. Sadly though, he's retired though.
Yes.
Smartly.
And he's totally against the Hollywood narrative anyway.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
He's very against it.
Yes, good for you, man.
Yeah,
killing fields, baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was kicked out of Hollywood for his.
Yeah, I mean, they're
collapsing.
So
that's why
their loss is
I mean, there are so many actors that want to speak out. Like, they're employed right now. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. Evangeline Lilly, who played as Wasp in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She got blasted on social media because she attended a rally in DC that was basically going against the Cervasis bug injection, right? I'm not saying it. There's a reason why I went on my way to say it the way I did.
You don't have to explain yourself. Continue.
I just call it the beer bug.
There you go.
I don't know what the fuck bug.
So, but so what happened is she attends the rally. She makes it known on, I believe it was Instagram, I believe, and a few of her Marvel co-stars started blasting her, saying the typical stupid shit like, "Oh, you're supporting misinformation," or "I'm very disappointed in you that you went down this route." And the only thing she said is that she was pro-choice. Which is a funny thing because, like, whenever someone says that they're pro-choice, like,
that's
in
a good thing
to, like,
in the Hollywood nut jobs' minds.
Right, exactly. But, pro-choice in the medical industry or when discussing medical things, suddenly, it's like, oh, misinformation, which is a good tie-in for when we discuss, what's going on with Joe Rogan. Because with Joe Rogan, first of all, Joe Rogan is pretty much like us, discussing all kinds of things.
Biggest fucking podcast on the planet.
Yeah, and he, in fact, so much so that he has more viewers than most of the mainstream media news channels here in the States.
Take that, CNN.
I mean, I think he has like a few million, maybe even more actually, and that's including like worldwide. So his viewer base is huge.
Absolutely,
and so something happens that just gets people all riled up. And, for the past, 2 years now, we've been dealing with this beer bug, right?
Yeah.
And very slowly, information started to trickle out that started contradicting the mainstream narrative. Okay. And you had several prominent doctors licensed in this field that started, saying that, hey, look, there's a lot more going on here than you guys realized.
No shit.
And they started getting censored. Doctors, these aren't just your regular Karens on Facebook talking about something that they heard online.
No,
these are doctors. These are
like
licensed professionals that went to school for this shit. And they're being censored.
Yeah, educated, have a full degree, they have a full degree, a doctrine, the diploma, the license to do everything. These are not your typical I read it from the internet though that if you piss on a jellyfish sting, it'll help cure down. Bullshit. That's not true. It'll only just make it worse though. That's a myth though.
So at some point, I'd like to share something that Joe said. So whenever you just let me know.
I'm going to go ahead and read this article here really quick. Now, this is coming from Yahoo, and I don't trust these assholes for anything. But I like to see what the mainstream sources are saying about these situations. So it says everything you need to know about Joe Rogan's Spotify controversy over beer bug misinformation. Neil Young. So first of all, Neil Young is a musician. It says here that he's a Canadian-American musician. Okay, first of all, I've never heard of this guy. I've never heard of this guy, and I don't really care. But
he's got one good song. That's it.
Okay.
One hit wonder.
I never heard of him.
Well, you know what the irony is that his one song that I do think is pretty catchy is "Keep on Rockin' in the Free World." Free world, as he says. But
did he violate that?
I guess
obviously, but even at work, I listen to the radio and I hear them advertising for Neil Young, saying, "The Godfather of fucking grunge took a stance against Spotify," and he lost.
Yeah,
because it was
defeated.
Because it's almost as if that this corporation like Spotify cares more about the views and the profits over morals.
Oh man!
Who knew?
Oh my God! Right?
Whoa!
Wow!
Yeah.
What a fucking revelation!
So it says here Neil Young's January 24th announcement that he wanted his music off the streaming service Spotify because it hosts Joe Rogan's podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, continues to have a ripple effect. After Young cited Rogan's show for spreading false information about jabs, other celebrities, as well as the streamer itself, reacted with some following Young's lead. And let's see. So, I mean, look, we're going to get into this. We're going to get into.
Hang on.
We're going to get into the different celebrities, but just taking this at face value, what do you guys think this tells for anything that doesn't go against the mainstream? Anything that's the thing. We're not talking about just the medical stuff and the beer bug. We're talking about anything. What if you have an unpopular opinion about something and a bunch of people start calling for your show to get deplatformed? This is what we've been talking about since day one about cancel culture.
Okay, right. Well, let's hear what he has to say. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah.
Video, first of all, because I think there's a lot of people that have a distorted perception of what I do, maybe based on sound bites or based on headlines of articles that are disparaging. The podcast has been accused of spreading dangerous misinformation, specifically about 2 episodes, a little bit about some other ones, but specifically about 2. One with Dr. Peter McCullough and one with Dr. Robert Malone. Dr. Peter McCullough is a cardiologist, and he is the most published physician in his field in history. Dr. Robert Malone owns 9 patents on the creation of mRNA vaccine technology and is at least partially responsible for the creation of the technology that led to mRNA vaccines. Both these people are very highly credentialed, very intelligent, very accomplished people, and they have an opinion that's different from the mainstream narrative. I wanted to hear what their opinion is. Do I get things wrong? Absolutely, I get things wrong, but I try to correct them whenever I get something wrong, I try to correct it because I'm interested in telling the truth. I'm interested in finding out what the truth is. And I'm interested in having interesting conversations with people that have differing opinions. I don't know what else I can do differently other than maybe try harder to get people with differing opinions on right afterwards. I do think that that's important, and do my best to make sure that I've researched these topics, the controversial ones in particular, and have all the pertinent facts at hand before I discuss them. Again, I'm not trying to promote misinformation. I'm not trying to be controversial. I've never tried to do anything with this podcast other than just talk to people and have interesting conversations. My pledge to you is that I will do my best to try to balance out these more controversial viewpoints with other people's perspectives so we can maybe find a better point of view.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Very well said.
Definitely.
here's-
look, let me put my opinion in here real quick. Okay. He had to kowtow to what was about to happen, which at this point nothing's happened, I don't think. Okay. The reality is that he specifically identified. People don't realize that Dr. Robert Malone created the mRNA. I'm gonna short-live this and we'll move on. He created the delivery system to get this stuff into your veins, into your body. But he did that stuff 20, 30 years ago. Okay, and he was not an anti-vax guy. I mean, he created the system to deliver the medication into your body properly. Okay.
Exactly.
And so you can agree or disagree with that, but he's coming out and telling you don't take the shots and definitely don't take the boosters. Then you got Dr. Robert McCullough, top cardiologist, like Joe said, at Baylor University out of Dallas.
Peter
And
McCullough.
he's telling, Dr. Peter McCullough, saying stay away from it. Okay. So anyway, I had to drop that in there so everybody can do their own research. Don't believe me, believe the people that are educated. But isn't it ironic? It's kind of like when you're over the target, like in World War II, and you're dropping bombs. When you were getting flak, you knew you were over the target. Okay? And so Joe was there, and all these doctors, these esteemed doctors, and the media is ignoring them. So it's very important to know about that and do your own research for yourself. Do your own study. They don't want you to study. They're betting on your ignorance. So I'll leave it at that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's very true. And the thing is when I hear what he's saying, I can obviously tell that he's doing a little backtracking, just a little bit, on trying to sort of calm the storm, because obviously this is getting a whole lot of traction from multiple different people. But the issue is that we've seen this kind of behavior before, where you've had a celebrity or somebody that's got a pretty large following that says something that is controversial, and all the Twitter normies, the internet idiots, and just the sheep that or the NPCs, we can call them NPCs because they get a software update every time new information comes out from like CNN or Fox News. And you get situations like this where you get these celebrities on these platforms that that are saying that you're problematic, Spotify, that you're hosting someone who's doing misinformation, all that bullshit, and yet they say that okay, bring on the experts, believe the science. Well, what happens when you bring on the experts and they bring their own science? I think all of us here can agree that one of the things we learned about science in school was that science is ever evolving. There's always new information that comes out that changes previous hypotheses.
That's
or
right.
theories.
It's never set.
Exactly.
Okay. So when I hear the CDC, the WHO, or the government say everything they've said about this beer bug, okay, I want to listen to people that aren't bought and paid for, first of all, because the thing to remember is that these organizations are in it for the profits. The doctors,
Absolutely.
the scientists, the big pharma corporations, they're not in the business of making medicine to cure people. They're in the business of mitigating, or like sort of putting a
Profiting.
band-aid on the problem.
Profiting.
Okay,
So true.
they're extending the issue instead of fixing it. They put a band-aid on a huge gaping wound and say, "Oh, here you go. This will fix it. Just come back every 6 months and get your average thing."
Right, but it's
right?
not a band-aid. It's not even a band-aid. Anyway, go ahead.
It's just a term. It's just a term.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are, and I want to go ahead and take a look at a celebrity that I really enjoyed. I only found her recently, and by recently I mean like 2 or 3 years ago. My dad obviously has more experience with her than I do, but this was sort of upsetting to see that yet another celebrity, essentially goes to the dark side, so to speak. And that is Miss Elvira.
Oh my
Good
god.
old Cassandra Peterson. So here we go. She says, "I stand with musicians and artists, not with quacks and hacks. This cause is close to my heart. Please sign."
What cause is she
Petition.
referring to?
Yeah,
How
really.
about no?
Remove the Joe Rogan podcast from Spotify now. And
Why?
she has the link.
They don't need to. Gee.
Now, if this wasn't bad enough, let's look at some of her responses.
Oh, boy.
She says, regarding fans, in quotations, who are leaving me because they prefer disinformation over the truth, all I can say is it's time to clean house and separate the class from the trash. Bye-bye.
You're the trash. Just be happy you even have fans. You
Wow.
Hey,
woman.
hey,
Yeah.
okay,
God
whoa.
damn.
Back up, lady. Just because I try to be nice to you doesn't mean you have to spit in my fucking face. Not to mention, me and
Really?
Caleb actually met her one time, though. This was before the dark days, before she decided to go that way.
Before the Empire.
Mhm.
That
Empire.
so-called bitchy empire.
Okay. She says, for the people who call this censorship, would it be okay if I had a podcast inviting experts to encourage people to drive drunk?
What?
If I crash and kill myself, big deal. It's my problem. How about the people you kill or injure in the other car? Do they
Come
matter
on,
to you at
man.
all? Now look at this.
No.
Let's go ahead and break this down. Would it be okay if I had a podcast inviting
There you go.
experts to encourage people to drive drunk? First of all, that is a bullshit example because that would never
What
Really
happen.
bad one.
Second of
What the
all,
fuck?
it is a false equivalency. You can't sit there and tell me that having a podcast to encourage people to drive drunk is the same thing as bringing on medical experts that are telling you to not get the beer bug jab, and also being aware of what this bug actually is and the actual damage it does.
No
And
shit.
specifically the survival rate, according to the CDC.
Oh
According
my
to
God.
the CDC, they said it that one, this virus has a 99% survival rate for most people.
Damn.
Second, they said that the jab does not prevent you from getting the bug. And in fact, even if you did get the jab or jabs, that you can still spread the fucking virus.
Oh my God.
Now, my question is, what is the fucking point in getting the fucking jab then if it doesn't protect me from getting the virus and I could still technically spread the virus
Shit.
even if I have the damn jab?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's,
She
I was
doesn't-
about to make
Yeah,
that.
really.
She's not even thinking about this. Instead,
No.
she makes a false equivalency. And then she calls her fans trash. Let's see some of the responses.
Well, hang
That's
on. Let's hear
unreal.
what everybody has to say.
Okay.
Go ahead. Somebody speak.
Like, to be honest, though, I was actually about to make that same remark Caleb made, though. Like, so what's the point of getting the jab if I get the, like, what he said, though, just a few seconds ago about,
Well,
like,
Right.
like,
Well,
I
the
was about
bug's
to
not
make
even
that-
real.
Exactly.
Oh shit. Right.
Yeah, and I'll tell you
Damn.
what, though, and
Hell yeah.
and some people believe that this virus came from China because some dumbass bit the head of a bat, bit off a bat's
Just
head.
bullshit, by the way.
Which
Yeah.
is bullshit, by the way. I'm pretty sure we'd all be dead, though. And not to mention, if it came from a bat, then why the fuck isn't Ozzy Osbourne dead? Because he bit the
Yeah.
head off of a bat.
I was
If it
doing
was,
that.
what's
I
the
was
if it
doing
was
that
really,
concert.
if it was really bad, we all would have been died by now. It's just
Dead by now.
bullshit, and then they're
Dead.
trying
Oh.
to make you get the jab if you lose your job. It's such
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, like, okay, then. Well, excuse me. Last time I checked, because we're in America and you're forcing me to get a jab or otherwise I get fired. You know what that reminds me of? Reminds me of something called communism.
Why do you think I have all red in here? It's America.
Hey, as long as you don't,
Reds.
as long as you don't have a hammer and sickle nearby, then you're good.
No, that's funny. That's a good one, Carter.
So let's read some of these responses. So you got this guy here who says, "Sad to see Elvira working for big pharma and the government. I stand with free speech and free market. Removing artists because you don't like them is total brown shirt stuff."
Ooh.
This tweet is pure
Ooh.
toxic hate from Elvira. At least we can see who the true evil people are. It's
So
Elvira.
she knows about the brown shirts. I'm shocked.
No,
Wow.
this is somebody else. This is
Oh,
this is a
somebody-
fan.
okay.
This is a former fan.
Mm.
Super good pixel.
Sounds like BLM, man.
Eee.
We got another guy
Damn.
here. We have another guy
Smoking.
here who says, "Well, this is disappointing. I'm a longtime fan, but I can't in good conscience support someone who's pro censorship. I met you at a Comic Con or at a he says Comic Con. He probably
Yeah,
meant to say Comic Con
right.
a few years ago, and you seem like a nice person. It's just sad politics before the fans. Have you ever listened to Joe Rogan?"
Yeah.
And
Probably
then he says, this person says, "Free speech is about letting someone say the worst possible things that you disagree with, not keeping lockstep with the regime." George Carlin said, "A TV has two knobs. One turns it on and off, and the other changes the channels. No one said you had to listen."
Exactly.
right.
Thank you. Amen,
Yeah,
George,
really.
George Carlin. Well done. Well,
Let's
well
listen
done.
to this guy.
Well said.
He says, "Huge
Rest in
fan,
peace.
have always been since the movie Macabre days, but I can't follow this call for censorship. At Joe Rogan has openly invited experts to discuss COVID, both sides." And her response, "Bye-bye, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out."
You know what,
What a
man? She is
bitch.
alienating all the men.
Your fans was what made you, bitch.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty
Ditto.
sure that
Well-
I'm not sure if these are real or I'm pretty sure that
No,
90%
they were puffed
are,
up. They
I'm
had,
pretty sure they're fake though.
yeah, they were puffed up, man. She had probably had surgery. The look, because we met her in person, man. That wasn't real. I was real. That wasn't real, man.
Well,
The
she,
shit
she
she had
wasn't
back
in
in
she
the
wasn't
80s.
she wasn't in get up though. She was just in regular attire.
Yeah,
so
no,
she's fake.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
But hey,
lame.
look, nevertheless, man, she was so instrumental in the puberty of so many young men back then. She's alienated them.
Mhm.
So what I'm trying to do right now, because there was another Twitter thread that I wanted to find on here that was pretty crazy. Let's see. Maybe okay, yeah, here it is. So this is another tweet from her. She says, "Why is it that when you spark a debate with others who don't agree with you, their immediate response is to attack your looks, your age, your career, etc., particularly the men? Totally off the prompt. It says everything I need to know about them. It's all they've got." And then she has this stupid fucking little gift.
Well,
Now,
she can have her
Oh my
Um,
god.
here's
muff
the
monster
irony.
moment.
Here's the irony of this tweet. She says, "Why is it that when you spark a debate with others who don't agree with you, their immediate response is to attack your looks, your age, your career, etc.?" That's exactly what's happening on the other side. So when you say something that people don't agree with, for example, Gina Carano, when she
Yeah.
made that tweet that got her fired, okay, they first of all, before she was fired, they had been attacking Gina Carano for a very long time. When
Yep.
she started making her social media posts that were going against the grain in Hollywood, they were attacking her looks, her age, her career, etc. Okay, so she can sit here and play this cute little gif and thinks that she's king shit, even though she's well past her prime.
Queen
Uh,
bitch.
She wasn't
Yeah.
in her prime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or should I
right,
say
right.
evil queen?
Let's see. You got this guy here who says, "Correct me if I'm wrong, but you made a pretty good living because of freedom of speech and freedom of expression, right? Shocking an artist such as yourself want to silence others, and I did not have to say anything about your appearance."
Look, man, here's the deal, man.
There you go.
I was there.
Well
I was
done.
there. I watched it. I enjoyed it every weekend. Back in those days, the weekends were king, man. And her ass
Yeah.
was up there, putting her shit out there. And look, man, she profited from it. She enjoyed it. and so-
Classic.
absolutely, it was great. It was great back then because we didn't have those issues like these motherfuckers have today.
Yeah.
And it's just disgusting what's happened. It's a shame what's happened, So she's trying to preserve herself, and that's where it's at, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff doesn't at this point, with everything that we've seen, and not just with the Cervasis beer bug, but just with the political left and how they control Hollywood in general.
It's a catalyst because they're collapsing, right, man?
That is pretty accurate because you get desperate in your final moments to do anything.
True,
and
absolutely.
so you start shilling
die.
out these people to start trying to promote what you want. And this is something that this is for everyone in this video and for anybody watching.
Right.
Remember these people. Remember their names. Remember Elvira / Cassandra Peterson. Remember Neil Young. Remember any fucking actor, director, or social media political figure, whatever.
Profited, right.
Remember these people because when this sinking ship finally sinks, they're going to be looking to get back into good faith with the fans, the people that gave them the money. Okay,
that's right.
You're giving these people money. This is something that you need to understand. Everybody here needs to understand this. People like her, people like Neil Young, they hate you. They do not like you. They like the money that you give them because you're a fan of their shit. But they hate you. They don't like you.
That is so true.
You have to remember that. And because they hate you, you cannot support them. You cannot, in good faith, support them.
Dude, let me build up what you're saying, man. You had the symbology of what you just said, sinking. I'm telling you, it's like the Titanic. Do your own history research on the Titanic. There's some very important people that were against the corrupt financial system of the United States of America that died on that ship. And so when you said what you said, it's like, you know what? Symbolically speaking, let that shit sink and let that Titanic that's down there consume their asses. Because people like you young people, I'm telling you right now, you young people right here tonight doing what you're doing are going to change the landscape of entertainment for fucking ever. So yes, let that bitch sink. Yes. Let that Titanic suck it up, eat it, digest it into the fucking earth and die. You guys are the best. I'm telling you. Man, what you guys are doing, don't ever forget what you're doing tonight. It means everything as you go forward with your careers and whatever you're going to do.
Yep, and let me give an example.
Goddamn
So basically, Hollywood, like Hollywood now is the Titanic. The people who are against what they believe, like against Hollywood stuff, they're the fucking iceberg, though.
Oh yeah.
That's what they are, though. And just because the pumps, just because the ship is made of iron, though, doesn't mean. You ever heard the phrase "God Himself couldn't sink this ship"? Oh, guess again, buddy. Because guess what? We're the fucking iceberg. And
hang on. I'm gonna tell you the iceberg. Let me help you out, Carter. The iceberg is you. It's everybody. You guys in this room. You're the iceberg, exposing their bullshit.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
You're the fucking Titanic, and everybody that's watching this or is in this chat room, we're the fucking iceberg, and we're gonna sink your ass. Or better yet, just let me say something else though. They're the fucking Bismarck, and we're the torpedo that sinks him.
Yep. Put Hollywood, burn them.
Mm-hmm.
So
they are caving to the virtual mob. The Matrix has you.
Speaking of running out of ideas, Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Yeah, I didn't see
to
it.
the extent of pussy Hollywood. Can say whatever they want, but you can't say your own opinions. There's such bullshit over there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you think it's all glitz and glamour? Well, guess what? I've seen Hollywood, and trust me, it's not all glitz and glamour as you think, though. It's basically dirt and shit, though. Piss and shit. That's what it is, though. Because not to mention, though, that there's a bunch of homeless people on the sidewalks, and it just doesn't look how it's supposed to. It doesn't look that good.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's supposed to be Tinseltown, more like Shitzeltown.
I'm just going to say it. You know what movie perfectly represents what Hollywood is really like?
What?
It's called Showgirls.
Yes.
Yes.
If you've seen the movie and all the dark shit that went on behind the scenes with the characters in that movie, I mean, people could probably laugh at me for pointing that out.
No, you're right.
Showgirls of all
You're definitely
things.
all right, though, man.
But just how abusive everyone was behind the shadows. So I think
that's a good
Showgirls
point,
was
man.
ahead
You're
of
right.
its time. I mean, it's a bad movie, but it's entertaining. with some very clever satirical commentary on
Right.
American culture.
You're
Yeah.
right. The messages
And it's
were
a
being
Paul
sent.
Verhoeven movie, for fuck's sakes, and that was something he was good at.
That is what we refer to as subliminal messages. When
Yep.
movies make those sorts of comments, we've seen this a lot in different films, and that's why I like watching these movies and analyzing them, because there's always a little message that these Hollywood directors put into the films. And I don't know if it's a warning or they're just laughing at us because it's like, ha ha ha, this is what we're doing. And it's like, whenever they show you something in the
Quentin
movies,
Tarantino.
yeah, and then
Mhm.
it actually starts happening in the real world, the dumb people say, "Oh, that can't happen. That's just a movie. That was just in a movie." You know, those are the dumb people that die first.
Sometimes I think that
No.
the subliminal messaging is more like a cry for help, like, please save us.
No shit,
Yes.
right? That's a good
Oh,
point, man.
basically,
You're
Yeah,
right.
and not to
You're
mention
right.
that sometimes some subliminal messages could be like hidden messages. Like
That's
to,
what
to,
that means.
So yeah, to also warn them about the dangers of the future. Like
But
example,
also, it's
like in-
also at the same time you could look at it as, you know, self-destructing, you know, because they eat each other and they project what's about to happen. I do like the idea of, you know, what you were saying there about a cry for help.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt that for one moment. That's true.
Well, that's a good point, because there are people in Hollywood that are not the raging hardcore leftists that we commonly laugh at. There are people in there that are probably too afraid to speak out. My message for them is, at this point, do it, because you're going to get a lot more support than you probably realize. And I can't say that for everybody, because there's a difference between a Hollywood actor versus like a cinematographer
Yeah.
or a sound guy, where if that guy, you know, that little guy that does the smaller stuff loses their job, there's obviously a good chance that they're not going to get rehired anywhere.
The
That they
four
will be
PAs that
blacklisted.
worked on Ghostbusters 2016.
ugh.
Oh my
Ugh.
God, that's too
My
much.
God.
Here's your latte, Mrs. McCarthy.
Yeah, your Starbucks
Can't kill
latte,
that
right?
puppet, bro.
Here's your wonton soup, you fat bitch.
Oh my God.
Like
Due to her what she was doing in Tammy's.
yeah. So
But
Wanna
it's
know
but
my-
you know what this is? This is a complete destruction of everything that's filthy.
Mhm.
Literally, the good entertainment is going to come back. Like I said before, with what young men like you are doing. You know, when we go to these Comic Cons, we're seeing this material, and Caleb and Carter Sauce can. I mean, you guys can vouch for this too, man. There's so much quality entertainment that is, you know, undiscovered, if you will, not undiscovered necessarily, but in the so-called entertainment world, that's there. That's why I go into those Comic Cons. You know, you meet people and you look at the material, and you know, this is where everybody hobnobs together and creates great ideas and creates movies. Okay, and that's so important. So whatever you guys are doing behind the scenes in your own lives, man, don't stop, man. Just keep pumping it out, whatever it is, whatever
That's
you
right,
do.
because the
Right.
alternative entertainment is what is going to be the future. Because once this Hollywood bubble or this Hollywood ship sinks, people are going to be looking for entertainment. I mean, it's already happening.
Right.
Okay, there, like for example, the numbers for viewership on the like latest seasons of Doctor Who that features the female Doctor. Okay, they're tanking. They're still getting their viewers, obviously, but you can see a very visible decline in viewership because people are just done. They're done with the crap. And you know, I watched this most recent episode of the Book of Boba Fett, and
Ooh.
it made me want to
Ooh.
vomit because I'm thinking to
Yes.
myself, okay, this is a show about
Wow.
Boba Fett, but he's not even in the fucking show
I know.
until the end. The end, and this is a show about him. This is what they're doing.
This is how bankrupt they
It's
are.
the jangling keys thing, because they give us a whole bunch of fucking Easter eggs in this episode with Luke, Ahsoka, fucking Cad Bane from the Clone Wars TV series. I mean, they're throwing all this shit at your face, but none of it is Boba Fett. And this is his own show. He makes a cameo in his own show.
That's
And he doesn't
bad.
even feel like the character that we all fell in love with.
I mean, and then they bitch slap the Mandalorians. I mean, there's only 3 left, right?
Yeah,
Those
there's only
guys.
3.
That's terrible, man.
Yeah, that only stick to tradition
That's
though,
bad.
like not
That's
removing
bad.
your helmet. This is the way bullshit.
How the
Excuse
hell are
me.
you?
Like,
Man.
hello, like example, like
Wow.
how the hell are you supposed to heal? Like let's just, like in the
They're
first season of like they said that they stick to tradition of never removing their helmets. Okay, let me ask you something. What happens if something blows up in your face though, and you're injured and you need to take off your helmet though? Oh,
Right.
so what? You just want me to die with this thing on? Nah, I'm taking my fucking helmet off because I need some Bacta or some stem cells to fucking patch me up.
No, they won't take
Gotta
off their
eat.
mask. They'll let themselves die because they're like the what are those creatures? The Klingons. It's like,
Yeah.
Dying in battle is a great honor. So I'm gonna die. It's like, oh,
Bullshit.
it's just a minor flesh wound that can be easily solved. You just take off your mask. No, I will die in battle. It's like you're
Bullshit.
You know what, man? Let me tell you
stupid
something. This
shit.
is a throwback to Battlestar Galactica, but I'm old school Battlestar Galactica. I can tell you, I have more respect for what was the bad guys in Battlestar Galactica? I can't remember.
The Centurions.
No
or something?
idea.
The Centurions were the
robots. You're referring to the robots.
right, man. They never took off their shit.
Yeah,
'Cause
really.
I think they were robots, but yeah. No, I got you.
Yeah, and not to
The
mention
Cyclone Raiders or some shit like that.
Yeah, there you go. Cyclone
right.
Centurions.
Mm.
I think that's what they were called.
and the fact that like there were a bunch of things that pissed me off in the later episodes of Boba Fett. Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, melting down his Beskar spear to make a chainmail shirt for Grogu. What the fuck were you thinking?
Well, even worse than that, didn't in that one episode where they had the two Mandalorians fight, or they were
Yeah.
fighting each other, they
Yeah,
took his
because-
spear and melted it down or some shit like that.
That's what I said though.
Fuck
The
was
melting the Beskar spear so he can
Oh, is that, okay.
make armor for little Grogu, make a little chainmail
Oh, that's
shirt
right. I
for
didn't
little
know it was
Grogu.
for-
That's what I was talking
For
about.
little Grogu.
Like, excuse me, like
Fucking
that-
idiotic, man.
That's
Let's
stupid
move
though.
on,
Why
man.
would you?
This-
Why
and
would
this-
you?
Really
Why would you melt
turning
that
my
down?
stomach.
And
Bad.
this is why I'll never watch a show and support Disney Plus because just bullshit on
No
there,
shit,
so.
right,
Well,
man?
that-
I am
not
I'm
only
with
did
you,
that
bro.
piss, not only
Thanks,
did
Carter.
not only
Appreciate
did
you,
the
bro.
melting of the
I didn't
Beskar
pay for
spear
that shit.
excuse me, not only was the melting of the Beskar spear pissed me off though, the only thing that pissed me off was that fucking TSA droid. Like, you have to remove your weapons before entering. Like, you know what? Okay, I'm going on board.
But wait a minute, you know what, Carter? Hey, now that you were talking about that, Caleb, you mentioned to me before that everything is leading towards like
The
episode.
sequel.
Oh, okay. No. Okay, let
Yeah.
me give you the context. So, in this latest episode, they're showing Luke's new Jedi temple being built on this fucking planet. I don't even know what it's called. They didn't
what?
give the name. Okay. And if you pay attention, you'll begin to realize that the planet and the temple that they're building is the same location that we saw in The Last Jedi that was on fire. So what that tells me is that this fucking series, for all its good faith, for all the people that are like, oh, fucking Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, they're saving Star Wars.
No, they're not.
No, because that Jedi temple that's being built with little Grogu there doing his little Jedi training, pew, 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 pew. Okay, that's just going to be on fire in what, 30 years? Yeah, 30 or not even that, maybe even less. So you're giving us all this good stuff, but it's useless because it's leading to that fucking destruction. It's leading to that sequel trilogy that is complete and utter shit.
Yes.
Like let me ask you something though. Like, what's the matter? Like in Legends, or either it was Legends or Expanded Universe, that after the fall of the Empire, Luke rebuilds he makes his Jedi Academy on Yavin 4. That's where that's where it's supposed to be, not this little planet.
That was in the Jedi Knight video games like Jedi Outcast and Academy. That's where it was taking place. Was the old Rebel base?
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep, I
like,
remember
why
playing
not
those.
use that though? If I
That'd be
was
awesome.
Because
if
they're
I
fucking
was
stupid. That's why.
like if I okay, let me ask you something. If I was the executive producer, second executive producer, not Kathleen Kennedy, and I read the script that they were building the Jedi Temple on the same planet where happened in The Last Jedi, I'd be like, I would have just walked up to Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and just backhand them what the fuck is the matter with you?
But the problem is, Disney has their say.
No, Carter. You're supposed to handle the situation like Lumberg from Office Space. Just, yeah, I'm gonna have to sort of go ahead and disagree with you there. Just play it cool first. Just play it cool.
No, I want to
first.
just like backhand and like, excuse me, you're supposed to be saving a franchise, not running.
Violence is not the Jedi way.
They don't give a shit about the franchise. They worry about
Oh
money.
yeah,
So,
I want to say this last thing on the Book of Boba Fett. So something that happens in spoilers, I don't really care. You shouldn't either, but spoiler.
I
alert.
just saw the episode tonight, so
Okay,
No
so,
way, man. Oh,
so
fuck.
watch this.
Yeah.
So towards the end of the episode, it ends with
A choice.
Luke and Grogu sitting there, and Luke shows off Yoda's lightsaber. Now, there's a problem with that because in Disney's own canon, they have a Darth Vader comic that shows Masameda, Palpatine's like assistant, the blue guy from Revenge of the Sith. Okay, they show him grabbing Yoda's lightsaber, showing it off to the public, and burning it. Yoda's lightsaber gets destroyed in the comics, and this is maybe like a few years after Revenge of the Sith, or shortly after it. So Yoda's lightsaber gets destroyed, and yet now it pops up here in this series.
Because these cockfucks are betting on your ignorance.
They're losing. They're losing because I picked that up right away. I'm like,
me too.
Sorry.
I picked it up as well.
Didn't that lightsaber get fucking destroyed years ago?
That's right.
But there it is. It's magically there, and then we get this little thing where Luke is forcing Grogu to make a choice. He's like, take this lightsaber and become a Jedi, or take this armor that was a gift to you from the Mandalorian. So you can either become a Jedi or you can go back to your Mandalorian friend.
Oh my god!
Luke is literally making him choose. It's like, what the fuck kind of a choice is that?
Luke, go back and suck that titty milk, man. What the hell?
Fucking retarded.
I do think it's probably some test. Who knows what the outcome might be? I guess we'll find out. But
there's only 2 episodes left in this series.
I did not know that Yoda's lightsaber got destroyed. But at the same time, when he pulled out, I'm like, where did you get that?
Yeah, really.
This is as big of a mystery as how the fuck did Maz get Skywalker's saber?
I know, right?
That's a good question for another time.
Terrible shit.
I'll never get explained.
That's a terrible question forever. You could never explain what? Go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Okay, but okay, I just thought of it in the Family Guy episode where when Chris goes down the shaft and he sees that guy. Hey, have you seen a hand that's in his pants? No.
That's dude. That is so bad. That's about as bad as Luke fishing with a 500-foot pole.
Yep.
Can't even hold the pole.
Okay, so I want to pull up this article because I was doing a little bit of internet surfing, and I found this here. I thought it would be interesting. Spotify appears to remove more than 70 episodes of Joe Rogan's podcast. The apparent removal comes at Rogan's podcast as Rogan's podcast continues to generate controversy.
Wow.
Oh my god!
And this is by some guy named Oscar Gonzalez. Hey,
Shut
Gonzalez.
up! Shut up!
Fucking Mexican motherfuckers.
Okay, so Spotify appears to have quietly removed roughly 70 episodes of Joe Rogan's podcast after expressing support for the comedian who stirred controversy for spreading beer bug misinformation. The apparent removal of the episodes, all of which were recorded years before the thing began, was spotted by JRE Missing, whoever that is. The fan-made website uses Spotify's API to compare available episodes to a database of all episodes recorded. It is unclear when the episodes stopped being available. Roughly 40 episodes had previously disappeared from Spotify. CNET confirmed that the episodes newly reported as missing weren't available on Spotify anymore. The company and Rogan didn't immediately respond to requests for comment.
Wow.
The approval or the apparent removal of the episodes comes as controversy swirls around Rogan for promoting beer bug misinformation on his podcast. Bullshit. Rocker Neil Young and folk icon Johnny Mitchell pulled their music from Spotify after an open letter signed by more than 250 medical professionals, researchers, and professors pointed to Rogan's podcast as evidence the streaming service was giving beer bug, misinformation, a platform. CEO Daniel Ick. You see that?
Daniel
Has defended the inclusion of Rogan on the company's roster and told the company town hall that the podcast was vital to Spotify's success. If we want even a shot at achieving our bold ambitions, it will mean having content on Spotify that many of us may not be proud to be associated with. Eck said during the town hall. Not anything goes, but there will be opinions, ideas, and beliefs that we disagree with strongly, and even makes us angry or sad.
Come on,
Pussies.
bro.
That's like
Come on, really?
Quit being a pussy. Let me know when your balls drop, baby Huey.
Dude, this is like
So
a
happened.
Quit
complete.
agreeing with the
Balls
sentiment,
drop off.
fuckheads.
It's like a complete takedown of what anybody has to say about anything that doesn't address their narrative. It's terrible.
That's
And
what
yeah,
I think of
and
it.
yeah, it's okay for them to say whatever they want, not offend
No
us.
shit,
Oh,
right?
shit.
You're right, bro. Absolute Flett.
So here we are.
Mm.
Elvira,
galaxy far,
Neil
far away.
Young, some asshole named
Elvira.
Johnny Mitchell. I don't fucking know. How many fucking Hollywood actors that we know and used to love that are just sucking the proverbial
folding.
phallic object of Hollywood and the medical community that's continuing to push this bullshit. And it's not even just that; it's just the fact that they're censoring people that have an opposing viewpoint. And we usually take that for granted, don't we? The idea that being able to speak freely, because it's something that we kind of just do.
Vanna, what were you gonna say, man? You
No.
were gonna say something, man. I saw your finger go up.
When it comes to celebrities and this stupid beer bug shit, my God, I can't help but just think of that stupid fucking Instagram video from Gal Gadot because you mentioned her
Oh,
earlier.
my.
It's like, oh no,
way! I didn't know
That's
about
all
that.
right.
Tell me about that. I didn't know about that.
What did she say?
The John Lennon Imagine video where her and her
Oh.
celebrity friends are singing John Lennon's Imagine.
Really?
Oh my
Oh.
god!
It was like the worst thing ever, and everyone
Wow.
was just like, "The fuck's wrong with you?"
That's the Wonder Woman no more. Is she?
Yeah, like that. Like even when celebrities do something that's stupid, it doesn't even have to involve
No
all this
shit,
beer
right?
bug shit or talking down to fans. Just like when you do something this stupid, it's like you piss off. You do not. It's like Ricky Gervais said, "You know nothing about the real world.
Oh no,
You
you're right,
spend less
man.
time in
Dude,
school than Greta Thunberg."
look, man, you already know what Ricky did on. There was some
Golden
award
Globes.
ceremony. What was that?
It was
What?
the Golden Globes.
Oh, the
Yeah, it was the Golden
right.
Globes.
Ricky
Dude,
Gervais.
that was
Yeah.
golden, Flett. That was a golden ass wipe on their face, man.
Yeah, he
Wow.
roasted them.
Mhm.
They got sent to them about it.
Burned
You
them
told the
fucking
truth.
alive on hot
Yep.
coals, bro.
Oh yeah.
What were you gonna say,
Sure,
Carter?
Shh. Oh yeah. So basically, why everyone is afraid to speak out is because they're afraid they're going to get judged or persecuted for their
Canceled.
canceled. Yeah, for their
fired.
like lots of people
True.
have different opinions. Though, like
But you gotta
not to
stand
mention
on
though,
your
let me tell you
laurels,
something.
man.
Where we are now, it
Mhm.
doesn't like how like in the United States Constitution or was it the Constitution or
Or the Declaration.
amendments the amendments
All
the
right, the Bill of
Bill
Rights.
of
The Bill of
Rights.
Rights.
Bill of Rights.
Right. Yes, sir.
It says that the first one. What is the first one? Freedom of speech.
Damn right, brother.
And now let me ask you something though. You know, back in the days, like when before the United States wasn't even a thing though. If we
Mhm.
talk bad about England, you
Crown.
know what?
The crown.
Yeah, no. Do you know what would happen if we were talking bad about King George III? We would either
Mhm.
get hung, we would get shot, or we would just be straight up executed. But
That's
now,
right.
that's basically what basically is happening right now. Our type of execution is just being canceled. Okay.
True.
Now let me tell you something
Yeah.
though. Now this is a sore subject though, because I'm pretty sure we're going to get to that next subject though.
Speak on it, brother.
It's
Just
on
say it.
Nazi. It's about Nazi Germany and the USSR.
Mm-hmm.
If you talked bad about the country or talked shit about it or just have a different opinion, I'm pretty sure you would either get sent to a gulag, you would be shot, you would be executed. That would happen in Nazi
Absolutely.
Germany, though, and the Soviet Union, though. So
Yes,
basically,
sir.
freedom of speech, though, like using your mouth as a weapon. I'm pretty
Yes,
sure
sir.
that mouth would get you killed, though.
Yeah.
And that's what is happening now. Instead of getting you killed, it's going to get you either canceled or you're just going to lose a bunch of stuff.
And yet,
That's why
World War
it's
II,
so
they fought for our rights.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Flett? Say that again.
Remember in World War II, they fought for our rights and freedom.
Exactly.
What's
Yeah.
going on now?
Mhm.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
spot on, Carter.
But that was
Absolutely, bro.
problematic, don't you know?
Yeah, so
I mean, that's
the
mentality of the
what
leftists.
happened to that now?
That's right, bro.
Was all those people that fought for our freedom of speech and our rights was that just basically thrown out the window? Like we just
No,
blew it all to the window for everything they've done.
no,
for us.
you're right, man. That's why you're seeing, dude. I'm telling you, you guys have no
Fun.
idea in Canada how. I'm telling you, man, you have no idea how important the shit that's going. It's just not Ottawa. It's spread across every province in Canada, man. It's just
Oh,
Ottawa
yeah.
is the center of focus right now, due to the proximity about what they're to do. And thank you, Carter. That's beautiful what you said. Because
Mhm.
about what they're about to do in the United States and DC, they're going to pull the same shit down there. Good. Canada really, I mean, you guys just stamped on those motherfuckers' faces in Ottawa at the fucking Parliament building, man. You have no idea how I'm watching the videos today, yesterday, day before. It's fucking amazing what your people are doing, man. It just, I'm jealous in righteousness for what Canadians are doing. As an example to, say, hey, America, wake your fucking ass up before you lose it, bro.
Well, at the same time, we kind of did our own little play on what we say about our current leader. I mean, like you guys have Let's Go Brandon. Now
Right?
we have Truck Fudo.
And our so-called premier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and too. Randy Bobandy.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
That's who he looks like.
Trudeau Fudo.
So what Carter was talking about is actually a good segue into our next little topic here. And we're going to also tap into our own little personal story here on the podcast. Once again, I am going to mention it because it is relevant. So you guys have heard about Miss Whoopi Goldberg.
Which
I used to be famous.
Yes, there you go. ABC suspends Whoopi Goldberg over Holocaust comments. Miss Goldberg's comments on Monday's episode of The View came amid growing ignorance about the Holocaust and rising anti-Semitism. She has apologized.
I'm sorry.
It's because she's black. She got already suspended.
No
if you're
shit,
white, you
man.
get fired.
She has non-white privilege.
Same reason why O.J. Simpson got away with killing Nicole, because he's
right?
black.
Yeah.
No, he did because he did the crime. He would made sure he went to jail.
It
But
didn't have
the
nothing to do
cops
with
did
no
it.
blackness. You fucking killed.
It sure did. Someone
human
tampered with
beings.
it.
God, it's fucking so true, Flett. You're spot on, bro.
Yep.
Whoopi Goldberg, the comedian, or the theoretical comedian, as I like to call it, an actress who is also a co-host on the ABC talk show The View, which I heard is complete dog shit, by the way. Never watched it, never will.
Absolutely.
Will be suspended for 2 weeks, the network announced Tuesday night after she said repeatedly during an episode of the show that aired on Monday that the Holocaust was not about race. Comments that come at a time of rising anti-Semitism globally. She later apologized. Where the fuck is this rampant or rising anti-Semitism coming from? Because I'm not hearing anything about it. I'm not seeing it anywhere.
It's not.
No.
It sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
Zero. It's it's baiting motherfuckers in for another purpose.
In the episode, Miss Goldberg said the Holocaust was about man's inhumanity to man and not about race. When one of her co-hosts challenged that assertion, saying the Holocaust was driven by white supremacy, Miss Goldberg said, but these are two white groups of people. She added, this is white people doing it to white people. So y'all going to fight amongst yourselves. As she continued to speak.
Look, let me tell you something, man. She's either one or two things: blatantly ignorant, one, or two, she doesn't realize. I'm telling you. Okay, let me just put it like this. This is a fact. You can do your own research. Jewish people, the ones that know about a lot of stuff, and I'm not going to get into the whole cadre of what's going on, they don't even consider themselves white, even though they're white. Okay.
They're light skinned.
Yeah. I mean, they're
Caucasian.
You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, that's so true. That's a fact.
Let me put it to you this way:
That's true, man.
there's a lot of things about World War II that
But they're using
have
black
gone
people
under
to
the
do
rug.
stupid shit.
Okay, that's the thing. There's a lot of things about World War II that have gone under the rug that a lot of people don't know about because either one, they've never heard of it, two, it has been censored, and three, because it happened so long ago.
Well, hang on a
wasn't
second.
really
You
that
say
long
four,
ago.
man. Willful ignorance for your dumbass not doing some studying.
Yeah,
that's the fourth thing, because it wasn't Jews. It was I mean, it was homosexuals. It was. Go ahead, Carter.
I'm sorry. I was about to say, like, what Whoopi should have said. It wasn't like what? Wait, what was that thing she just said? Like, wait, can you go back up? I'm trying to remember what the hell she said though. It wasn't just about. It wasn't just about. It wasn't just about race. It was about
man's inhumanity to man.
Yes, exactly.
Not about race.
Exactly. But she should have said it wasn't just. She should have said it wasn't just. It's not just about race. It's also inhumanities to man, though. But here's the thing, though. It wasn't just the Jews the Nazis went after. They went after the Soviet civilians, Soviet POWs, the Poles, the Serbs, disabled people, Romani, the Freemasons, the Slaughterers, the gays, the Spanish.
Do you know how true it is what you're
Jehovah's
saying,
Witnesses.
Carter, everything you're saying that's so true that not even Charles de Gaulle, the French president, nor Winston Churchill out of England, they never even mentioned a Holocaust in their memoirs, which is interesting. So I thought I would throw that out there because history gets distorted as time goes along. So that's why I'm not so quick to take sides, man. I want to hear what people have to say.
When I heard that Whoopi Goldberg got suspended,
that's right, Carter,
about something that she said, the first thing I did was, it wasn't like, oh, good, I'm glad
Jehovah's
she got
Witnesses
suspended.
as well.
I'm wondering, like, it's all a bunch of bullshit, but something I really want to focus on is that The View from ABC said they suspended Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks. Okay,
she should be fired.
And Whoopi saying this shit, I don't really care. You know, nothing is so controversial for me anymore. It's like, oh my god, you would dare say such a thing? It's like I don't have that reaction.
What is controversial anymore?
No shit, right? Anything.
The term has lost its meaning, hasn't it?
It's the same channel that fired Roseanne Barr just for making a joke about Obama, but they suspend her. Like,
right, exactly.
Whoopi, like, come on, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, no shit. You're right, Flett. Spot on, bro.
So they suspended her for 2 weeks. ABC is owned by Disney, for those who don't know. And there's a reason why that's relevant. There is great relevance, and I'm about to show you why. Okay, they suspend her for 2 weeks for saying something that clearly a bunch of people had found very offensive. Gina Carano.
Yeah, Gina.
This is a tweet from her that she did recently. She says, have journalists completely given up on research? Nowhere did I say Republicans were being treated like Jews in the Holocaust. I shared a meme. I translated it into, don't let the government pit you against each other, or history tells us that could go wrong.
Right. Absolute, man.
Okay.
100% right.
Now, for those who don't remember, she made her comments, Gina did. She made that post. Disney fired her. She was removed from the corporation entirely. Whereas Miss Whoopi Goldberg is only suspended for 2 weeks. Okay. Now you could say that what Whoopi said was a hell of a lot more like direct in regards for offending Jewish people, if you really want to go down the offensive route. Okay. But when you compare that to what Gina said, there's a very, very big difference. And she's already clarified what she meant when she made that post on Instagram. Okay. And Disney fired her. And, you know, with everything that we've talked about in this series thus far, and seeing this come up and seeing what happened to Whoopi, it has definitely reinforced what I already knew when we were removed from the podcast network that we were a part of, that we never did anything wrong. There were people that hated us for having the gall to defend this woman here. Okay?
Yeah.
And if I could
Nothing
speak
but a
to
bunch of
them
pussies.
again, I would tell them that they're fucking idiots. And I know that sounds very strong, but I'm at a point now where I just don't give a shit because
Well, they're
I'm
fucking idiots.
seeing this stuff happen. Okay, I'm seeing what's happened, and I'm thinking about our experience, and I'm saying that what was done to us was bullshit. You're fucking wrong. You're fucking
Yes.
stupid for having the goal to say that we did something wrong or we offended you
Right.
idiots.
Right, because it was about sending a message, and she's Italian too, by the way, and they didn't like that either. So it's beyond your particular culture, if you will. It's about what's coming out of your mouth, which is I'm telling you, it's very unique here in America that the so-called powers that be are working very well to divide people into what we would call tribes. Okay, if you're united as a people, I mean, even Canada is a good example too, because you have native, Canadians up there too. I mean, you can, the history of it.
Yeah.
But it's so much even deeper than that. That they would attack her the way that they did, and it didn't make a difference about her culture. It was about just what she said out of her mouth. Okay, and that's a bad precedent. So you guys need to remember that and don't allow that, man, in your lives, man, because it's happening everywhere. But it's being broken down. I'm telling you, even more so than Australia, Canada. I'm telling you, is just leading like nobody's brother, man. I'm telling you, what they're doing up there in Ottawa right now is golden. Don't ever forget what you people are doing up there, man, and support it however you can.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yes.
the precedent that's being set, man, for freedom.
Yes, and also another thing though, not only was she fired though for having a different opinion though, not only did Disney fire her for having a different opinion though, it's because Disney's a bunch of hypocrites. And before you say why do you think they're hypocrites, let's see, she got fired for having making a tweet about the Holocaust and not mentioning anybody. But guess what else did? Another Mandalorian star, Pedro Pascal himself, had a picture or like a meme. It was like of flags though. It was the Confederate flag that said 1865 losers, and then it was like 1945.
Wow.
It was the flag, the Nazi flag, the swastika flag. It's like losers, and then there was like the Trump "Make America Great Again" flag though. It said 2020 and it said losers on it though. He didn't get in trouble though. He basically he was talking about three parties though. He was talking about the Confederate States of America. He was talking about the Nazis, and he was talking about people who supported Trump.
Bad
though.
comparison.
That's a bad comparison.
Really
Disney didn't like they just turned a blind eye like, oh, you're okay, that's good. Gina Carano spits truth, you're fired, get out of here. Like that's what it's fucking hypocritical.
It's all about who has the right opinion in their eyes.
Yeah,
really. That is a good segue into a video that I want to play from Eric July. I played a part of it in the beginning of this stream, and we're gonna go ahead and listen to what Mr. Eric July has to say about all this shit. So if you could pay your attention,
indulge us for a moment.
All right.
Unmute him.
Is it muted?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't hear him.
I can't hear anything.
Go backwards and then turn the volume up or whatever you got to do.
Now the volume is up. Let me go ahead. Give me 1 second.
And another thing though, that former podcast network we were at though.
Don't say any names.
No.
I'm not saying any names. I'm not saying any names though. Caleb could tell them blatant, straight up to their faces that they're idiots. While me, I would just prefer knock the shit out of them. Go Trevor Phillips.
Yeah, anybody else on the podcast later can say what the fuck they want on there. So.
Yeah, I mean, just move on, man. People are where they are.
Yeah, well, if you don't like my opinion, then okay, then you don't have to like my opinion. You don't have to trash me for liking something else.
Right, and that's why you have your own operation.
But having the audacity of kicking us off though, and having like just talking shit about us, do me a favor. Go stand in the middle of a minefield and try to find your way. I have a better idea. How about you take your ass in the middle of a minefield and navigate your way out?
And yet other people don't get removed. It's such crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in my case, go kick a landmine.
Let me know if you guys can hear this.
I heard it.
I heard it too.
Multiple.
Yep.
People who I've never fucking heard of have made it clear that it's either them and their music or Joe Rogan is basically off the platform because of spreading of misinformation, which is a loose term that doesn't mean anything. Now, there's going to be enough people already discussing what is actually happening. Long story short, you had Neil Young and other guys who have said they don't want any part of that, and now they're gaslighting people into their followers are gaslighting people, and oh well, you're not supportive. Even Barry Manilow situation, y'all heard about that? It was a lie altogether. And then the motherfucking Barry Manilow comes out and was like, "Yeah, no, I never said that I was going to be doing that." And then they're like, the followers are like, "Oh, so you support misinformation?" Like what? So this is what I'm talking about. Okay. And this is the angle that I want to speak on. You can look more into it. Looks like Spotify may end up actually bending the knee. They have, I believe, come out and said that they're rolling out some new restrictions that are pertaining to, this was as of yesterday, that are pertaining to like doubling down on some of these rules and potentially getting people out of there. Now, of course, we know this is in response to the everybody in the music industry essentially saying, definitely their followers, that this is what you must do. Now, this is the angle that I'm going to take since you know what's happened out of this. And bear with me because I need you to understand this. For those of you that listened to me before, this is going to be just me repeating or reiterating some of the things that I've said before, but it is such an important thing if we're going to ever find a victory. What you're seeing right now is just, as I've said before, and that is that the left, the authoritarian left, controls the entire conversation. And the entertainers that have been rolled out are on their side and in their pockets one way or another. Now, you as a person that may value liberty, no matter what it is you call yourself, may think that they're stupid. You heard like shut up and dribble and all of that before, but the reality is that those people are influential. So for years and decades, one of my biggest criticisms of the people that value liberty and non-leftists is that they have had no cultural imprint for a couple of different reasons. They always look at the result, unfortunately, and they say, well, they're keeping us out. And to that, I would say that is not necessarily the case. The problem is two main things as far as why you're losing to them. One being is that for a very long time, you neglected the importance of this. A lot of folks said, well, yeah, that we have the best ideas on our side. We're the smartest people. We have all the think tanks, and we just be cordial and all that, respectful to our enemies, and we're going to win. You found out that was a failed strategy. And long-term game of leftists were to infiltrate these cultural iconic things. And now they have control of it all, which is why, despite them being objectively wrong on so many other things, they don't even have to properly explain themselves, but they control it, which is just as good enough to having and basically obtaining and sustaining that power that it is they have. But there's another part of that. The difference is, and this is the biggest difference as far as if you wanted to change the tide today. So these cultural representatives that are out there that are not leftists like myself and musicians and that, are out there, a few of us that are out there. A big part of it is that unlike the left, the non-leftists are hell-bent on supporting the folks that hate them like a lot. And you know how I talk about the perceived legitimacy? I always use that term, perceived legitimacy, because it's not actually legit. Which I guess that's all legitimacy means anyway. It's that how people see that figure, that thing, that cultural thing. And they have conservatives had this probably the worst of the like non-leftist groups, in that they look to these things and they say, well, those are the legitimate ones, right? They don't even have time give other stuff the time of day, but that's the legitimate thing. It's pop culture. That's pop culture, whether it be in certain sports or whatever it is. That's legitimate. And they look at that and they will fund that despite them dropping nuggets, or rather the controllers saying that we really don't like you. And if people in our space have your positions, we're going to get them out. The only acceptable position it is to have publicly and not have to be ostracized or completely kicked out of this subculture would be being an authoritarian leftist. Nobody is going to lose their job now because they said Black Lives Matter. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But this is where we're at. I say all the time that the leftists don't reciprocate that. They never will either, but they don't reciprocate. Leftists have identified that they don't like you. They will not fund you. A lot of them pissy broke anyway, but they don't fund you. That speaks to my point. And that a lot of these institutions that people look at as like big and things that we need to look to for our sources of entertainment, particularly in the entertainment space, are only there because the opposite side will continue to throw fucking funds at them and give them the benefit of the doubt. And this is why the approach has been so nonsensical, because often you hear, like, I ridicule these people. I want them completely delegitimized. I'd rather compete and then delegitimize. I can have two firing fucking brain cells so I can do two things at the same time. I'd rather compete and then delegitimize them, make fun of them, ridicule, mock, shame, all those tactics. And you get people like me that use that, and there'll be some chicken shit conservative, right? Who's like, well, we don't want to be like them. We're better than that. Shut the fuck up. Quit trying to project. Quit trying to project your own individual ethics and set of morals and principles that your enemy does not share. So you reaching across the aisle. They don't give a fuck about that.
That's right.
They will never reciprocate that. They want you out, and they will never defend you in the event that you
and we won't defend them
get ostracized. Either. They're not going to come to your defense ever. They're never going to do that. But they depend on you not looking to other things.
Put your phone down,
that
Carter.
may be in the same subculture as just as legitimate. The reason
I'm going to pause really quick because what he said makes so much sense. And I want to say this, that when we talk about cancel culture, right? And we talk about how we don't like it. We don't support it. We looked at Elvira wanting to cancel Joe Rogan. Okay. This is something that we all must remember, for those here in this stream and for those watching, that these people don't like you. Okay. And they have been actively doing their best to suppress, to deplatform, to cancel anybody who has opinions they don't like. They're trying to cancel us. Okay.
Very out of touch.
And we are fighting against it to make sure that doesn't happen. And when the pendulum swings in the opposite direction, okay, these people will not have a legitimate platform anymore. And this is something that I really need to hit home. When these people that are calling for us to get canceled, when they start getting canceled and they're begging for your support, don't give it to them.
Exactly.
Nope.
Because you want to try and keep a good moral compass and be, fair and consistent with what you say. With that said, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to support the very people that would have you deplatformed. Why would I go support the asshole that tried to get me deplatformed in the past? This is my little viewpoint.
Well, what if they come back to you and apologize?
No. This is
I'm just curious. That's a question, man. That's all.
No, this is my view on it.
The question.
This is my view on it. It's the ending to Batman Begins, where Batman tells Ra's al Ghul, "I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you."
Oh man, that's beautiful. That's
okay, because
that's a good one. That's
you
a good one.
Chose in the past. You chose to have us canceled for something that you didn't like that we had to say, and in most cases, what we had to say wasn't some small little disagreement. No, we're talking about morals here. We're talking about that we're giving alternate opinions on something that matters. And instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to think about what you said and I'm going to research it for myself. Instead of saying that, you said, no, fuck you. You need to get canceled. So why in God's name would I give you a second fucking chance when you would stab me in the back with the next chance you got?
Dude,
They'll
you
do
should
it
have had that
twice.
shit queued up. You should have had that scene queued up. What you just said about that Batman scene, because I remember that. That was fucking great.
But look, I mean, doesn't that make sense? Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
it
I
does.
need,
Total
I need to
sense.
hear you guys what you think about that. Does it make sense for you to
Yes.
support somebody that would stab you in the fucking back, or who
No.
tried to
Absolutely.
stab you
no.
in the back in the
No.
past?
Why would I support those idiots? They'll just keep
Hell
doing and
no.
doing it.
This
I'd be
is
like,
What you said makes sense, but what? But to support someone who says, "Well, I don't like you, and I think your career should be over because I disagree with you." Well, fuck you.
Yeah,
And then when
fuck
it comes
you.
back to
The-
bite them in the ass, it's like, okay, bye.
I'm not going to actively go out and
Right,
cancel
right.
them. I'm not going to support their cancellation. I'm just not going to do anything about it.
yeah,
I'm
it's
going to
like
sit
No.
here
like the
with
reverse
my
card being pulled back on them.
proverbial popcorn, and I'm just going to watch the fucking show. It's like, oh, really? So that's the same asshole that tried to get me canceled, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm just going to sit back and watch. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what you should do, because why would you go support somebody that tried to get you fucking canceled?
Yeah. Makes no fucking sense. Like, this isn't even like putting your opinions aside for the sake of some kind of professional courtesy. It's just, I disagree. Fuck you. Get out of here.
Yeah,
You deserve
only
to have no
support the people
career.
that
Right, exactly.
always supported you, not try to get rid of you.
Yeah.
There's a difference between having a disagreement about a movie versus someone saying that you deserve to get canceled.
Yeah.
Someone telling you that what is essentially your job.
Yeah.
For the people that have the job of making content, that is how they make their money.
Yeah.
Okay, for us, this isn't a full-time job yet. Okay? For most of us, that's not what this is. We have lives outside of this space. Okay, but for other people who depend on the content they make, when they get deplatformed, that's a very severe stab to the gut. Okay,
Basically,
so,
being let off your job.
yes. So if you get canceled by somebody, and then sometime later you get back on, new channel, new everything, and that person that tried to get you canceled comes back to you and begs you for your help, why would you give it to him? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. To be honest though, like if you try to cancel me and somehow life decides to pull the reverse card on you, and I'm not gonna help you. I'm just going to watch, like Caleb said, he's gonna have popcorn. I'm gonna probably have like a big box of pizza or whatever, and I'm just gonna watch the shit show unfold. Like watch them as they try to climb back up the ladder, only for them to fall back down in misery.
No, you're not going to just have pizza.
Yeah,
You're going to have popcorn and nachos. I've been at the theater with you. You'll have everything.
you ate a whole
Yeah.
brunch.
Yeah, I would just
Everything,
like.
Carter.
Yep, I would just like to watch them.
Blackjacks.
Yeah,
There you
I'm
go.
pretty sure I would just watch them fall back in failure, like try to climb the ladder.
Yeah,
only
why would I
for them
support
to
people who
fall
tried
back
to
in
wipe
failure.
my first channel? And they came
No
back to
shit,
me for my
right?
second channel. I'm like, go the hell.
Like,
Right.
okay,
Exactly.
or I have a better
Exactly.
idea. How about you take that cancel culture and shove it up your ass?
Cancel culture's
All
one that
up
needs to
your
be
ass.
canceled. Trying to cancel history? Go fuck yourself.
I know, right?
All up your
Yeah.
ass.
Absolutely, man.
All
That's
right,
so
let's
true,
continue
man.
with the video.
I'll say this. Once that happens, this tide changes. This is why I'm so optimistic. As much as I talk, and if sometimes it feels like I can be a downer, and it's not the case. I just want you to understand the reality. But just as quick as it got bad, it can get better. And the minute that non-leftists didn't look at the subcultures that exist right now, I'm gonna say, you know what? No more, bro. You've made it abundantly clear that you don't like us. Okay, bet. We're just simply not gonna subsidize you anymore. We're not. And maybe
That's
there's
right.
a competitor who doesn't fucking hate you that may be in a similar space, right? And can replace that. This is why the creators and the investors and all those guys who are not deranged leftists should seek each other out. And just as much as, for example, you look at legitimacy through these guys, DC or Marvel or Disney or whatever, look at the other guy that's trying to do something else in the same subculture as just legitimate, if it's good, not just for the sake of supporting an alternative that's not even well packaged and it's dog shit. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about good alternative. That's when the tide changes. That's when the pendulum swings. It doesn't require you to like be a hypocrite or contradict your principles or anything like that. But you have, no matter, I think the biggest part of that and the biggest issue is that so many folks look to their enemies and they say, well, okay, you're like me. What you value is what I value. your set of ethics is the same as me. And that's why you lose, because you're projecting something on them, and they often use it against you all the time. Well, this guy who made a post yesterday talking about how much Jesus, how he hates your religion, how much Jesus is all of that. They don't like him. And then they'll turn around and try to use your Christianity against you when you do something they don't like. These are evil people. And they'll never reciprocate.
Like the fucking
I'm all about
Baptist
reciprocity.
Church.
You come at me correct, I come at you correct. Simple as that. I don't care where you're at. But once I already know your intentions are bad and I know you want me fucking gone, I'm going to adjust accordingly. I'm under no requirement to sit up around and allow you to beat me over the head. So you wonder why we keep running back to this. Every time we keep doing it. It's like, yeah, big mega corporate entity that may have not, they grew because they were not opposed to having, it was the old Michael Jordan, Republicans wear sneakers too. But that's no longer the case. And the brands that you guys know and love are just, they're controlled by the authoritarian left. How they got there, we've discussed. I just kind of gave you a little tidbit about that. But look, whether you agree with that or disagree is irrelevant, because we're where we're at. Now, what are we going to do? Are we going to keep allowing them to win by simply depending on the money that they get? I mean, you can't control everything. You can't control everything. But what you can do is say, you know what? No more. Fuck y'all. Y'all saying fuck me every time. Like, we're talking about on Spotify right now, you can get a lot of fucked up people's shit. You know what I mean? We know, like the likes of Chris Brown whooping up on fucking women, R. Kelly and his issues, right? All these other people that had domestic issues, violence, and histories of it, that have their music and or podcasts on Spotify. That didn't do it, right? Sex trafficking, that didn't do it. What did it was having some people on that were qualified, by the way, to speak on the subject, because they were doctors, scientists, come to a conclusion that was different from you. It wasn't, just fucking fall over yourself and get the jab. They wasn't shilling a jab. And that's heresy to them. That's all it took. That's heresy. You can't do that. And they will get all their subjects to try to whip Spotify into shape. That goes to show how powerful it is that they are, no matter how stupid you think that person is or those groups of people are. I don't even know half these motherfuckers. I have no idea who some of these guys are. I'm not going to let my own ignorance on who they are change their influence. But what that speaks to is where it is that we are at. Culturally, subculturally, things that are not necessarily directly attached to politics may have some loose connections, but it's not political per se. You just have no cultural imprint if you are a non-leftist. That needs to change, man. If you want to get a victory, that needs to change. And that's going to require a lot of you guys to drop a lot of brands. And I'm not talking about brands that are neutral, bro. I'm talking about brands that have made it clear they fucking hate you. Not because there's a disagreement. That's not that's inevitable. I'm talking about where the handlers have made it clear that they don't fucking like you, man. They depend on your money, but they don't like you. That's who I'm discussing. Those guys need to be dropped. And once that happens in mass, instead of, sitting there begging these fucking authoritarian leftists to change, right? Why are you keeping us out of your projects? You need to change. And then you give them the benefit of the doubt, and they'll jangle some little keys, and you get all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed and shit, and you go give them the time of day again after they've already made it abundantly clear that they hate you. That has to stop. If you want to win, that's where it's at. And so all those guys that place their entire well-being in the future, and themselves and their family on politics, you need to focus more on culture. Look how the left has operated and look how they win. It has nothing to do with having the best ideas on their side. It's just a matter of existing in things that are influential. And the minute that approach is adopted by folks that give a fuck about liberty, liberty will then win. A lot of these mega corporate entities only have positions right now because they think it's going to be lucrative going into the future. So how about this? Instead of adjusting based upon what they do, we start to create our own shit. And if that means having a parallel economy, it is what it is. But we do not have to sit up here and take this constant ostracism and this constant beating us over the head and keeping you out on top of that because you don't have a position it is that they like. That has to stop. And again, that's going to require you guys to look in the mirror. Everybody can do better. I can do better in this aspect. And then we'll start to win. The tide will change, and it can change. This isn't a black pill. It can change. Just as they are aware of where their money goes, you have to be aware of where your money fucking goes. Simple as that. And you can't do it with every single thing, but I'm willing to bet there's some sort of entertainment that you constantly look to as legitimate, even though they made it clear that your views are simply not acceptable among them.
Yeah.
Very well said.
Yep.
Amen.
Love it.
So there you go. Invest in the entertainment that is being handled by people that don't hate you.
Right. Right.
Focus on the people that are looking to make quality entertainment that anyone can enjoy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now with my comic series. That's what I'm working on. That's what I'm putting my future towards because I want to make entertainment, and the desire to make the entertainment is based on the pain that I felt watching my favorite franchises go up in flames. So now I want to go from the consumer to the creator, and that's what I'm doing.
Mega. Make
Same here, 'cause
entertainment great again.
I got
Yep.
projects lined up too.
Hey, amen
There
to
you go.
that, brother.
Good.
Yep, mega. Make entertainment great again.
Sounds
Not
good.
mega, mega.
Mega.
Mega. Yeah, I love
There
it,
you go.
man. You need to patent that, bro, before somebody steals it.
Get to it.
Yeah.
Spend the
So
money. Go tomorrow or go Monday morning, bro. Do it.
that's where we are. Forget anybody that has ever insulted you, whether directly or indirectly. You know, people like Elvira, Neil Young, all these
Mark
people
Hamill.
that, yeah.
I know,
mean,
right? That's
And it's a shame because
It's
you
a
look
shame,
up to
it
these
really is.
people. For some of these people, you look up to them because you grew up with their content.
He's fucking
And then
Luke Skywalker,
All
man.
of a sudden,
How
they
could you bow your
they do a
knee?
complete 180
Yeah, really.
on you, and they start saying, if you don't have these opinions, or more specifically, if you support these kinds of people, then you are just like those people. Therefore, I don't want you in my group. Okay,
Yeah, fuck off
cool.
and die.
Bet.
Yeah, fuck your
Bet.
group.
Because when I put out my entertainment, I'm gatekeeping the shit out of it. We discussed gatekeeping on the last episode, and I'm just going to reiterate it here again, that what happened to these popular entertainment franchises is that when Hollywood was taken over by the hardcore leftists, a lot of what was quality became tainted. So, you know, the early, we'll go as far back as the 90s, okay? One of the best animated shows that Marvel came out with, X-Men, the animated series. That shit was fire. It was golden. Batman, the animated series. Those were good fucking shows. Okay. Now these days, the fucking animation they come out with, it's shit. The comics they're coming out with are shit. You can see a very huge tonal shift from something that was just back in the 90s. That wasn't too long ago in the grand scheme of things. But you go back even further to the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. You had quality content that wasn't focused on trying to push a political message so far down your fucking throat that you begin choking to death. Okay.
Yeah.
These days, it's the complete opposite. Okay. You're drowning in the message.
They're beating you over the head with it.
It's nonstop. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So the final message is support the people that don't hate you, support quality alternative content, because when this boat sinks, those people are going to be drowning, or they're going to be in those little lifeboats just wondering, thinking to themselves, what went wrong? And they know what went wrong. Don't
They won't.
Go Go ahead.
And
I'll
if they
just say,
learn,
they would not be on the lifeboats. They would be trying to get on that fucking door that Rose would not share room with.
actually, it wasn't a door. It was a.
Yeah,
it was
and they'll be brain
It
dead.
was actually it wasn't a door. It was a door panel, not a door.
Door panel.
That's
It
okay.
was that
Potato
thing that
Whatever.
opened-
Doesn't matter.
His point. Yeah, right. His point well taken.
well, it was like the.
Point is, it wasn't a boat.
No
Yeah.
shit.
They're not going to be in boats. They'll be on.
That's right.
They'll be on a floating door,
Or
which is where we have
either,
been.
With no arms.
either a floating door or one of those deck chairs or anything that could be a flotation device.
I just take
Oh.
one of those. Take one of those flowy chairs that have a cup holder. That way, at least you can have a beer. Just
Hey, just as a side note, I would
Help me.
encourage you. Right, I would encourage you guys to. Just as a side note, real quick, okay? It was a BBC documentary, believe it or not, back in the day, and it showed that they changed the name of the ship from the Titanic to the Olympia. They changed all the stuff inside. Literally, they did this. You got to watch it, man. It's going to blow your mind what they did with that Titanic, man. It's absolutely, and I'm telling you, it was on BBC. You know, BBC is like so
Hey,
far
Peter.
left now.
Hey, Peter.
And
What's
when they
going
were
on,
told-
Peter Anthony? How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Anyway, that's a side
Coming in at
note.
the tail end, but it's good to see you.
It was a good
um,
documentary.
Yeah.
all right.
Alternatives, man.
Yeah,
Start looking out for them.
that's the future.
You know, it's very exciting because you finally, like, for me especially, it's a big learning experience because for years I've indulged in these popular franchises, and you know, I'm always wondering how they got these things done, and then I've had my own ideas about things, and now I have the opportunity to create something myself, and I've been getting a lot of help. It's a long road ahead, but it's a road that I'm very much willing to take because I'm just done with Hollywood entertainment. That's
Someone
why I'm
say
not
it.
interested in anything that they're coming out with. I don't care about the new Batman movie they have coming out in theaters with Robert Pattinson. I just don't give a shit. I don't care
Yeah.
about whatever fucking Marvel TV shows or movies they come out with because for me, it's like there were movies I enjoyed in the MCU over the past 10, 12 years or whatever. But Endgame ended it. Avengers Endgame. I'm done with it after that. I mean, and not every movie in the MCU is something that I like to watch. There's certain movies in there that I say, okay, these are better than the others, and I can enjoy them
exactly.
for what they are. And then it's like that's fine. But as far as that, I mean, that's as far as I go. I watched Loki, I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I wanted to vomit.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
it.
glad I never seen those.
Yeah. Peter says Roseblood, first conservative fan
Hell
film.
yeah.
Amen. There you go.
There you
And
go.
look, see, and for those that are watching, make sure you go support Peter Anthony on Roseblood because I've praised that movie a lot on this series because it is one of the first forms of alternate entertainment. It is a fan film done by fans for
the
fans.
fans.
And Peter Anthony did a very good job. He gave us a new kind of Friday the 13th film.
Yeah.
I don't usually
Beautiful.
like calling it a fan film because
Me either.
I feel like that would almost lessen
It is the film.
the
film.
you know, like lessen its impact. But it is a great film, and it's my favorite Friday fan film. It's so good. I enjoy it. I know that a lot of people have had their criticisms about it. For me, I can definitely see those criticisms at the time. But with that said, I enjoyed the shit out of the film.
Same
here. I loved it.
Same here.
Go support Peter Anthony. Go support Roseblood. It's currently, it's trending. It still is trending, I believe. But like we said, go support alternatives. And just keep looking out on this channel. Make sure you guys go support Kyle. Go support Danner. I'm sure Danner will eventually be getting his YouTube channel up, and he'll be putting out lots of content like he already is. And make sure you go support Peter. And thank you guys for coming on. This has been really fun. I'm glad that we were able to get you on, Kyle, for your first episode of the War on
Thank
Pop
you.
Culture.
I'd love to do it again soon.
Yep,
Hell
definitely. God, what else? So what else you guys have coming up on your channels?
Should I start then?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay. Next week well, I have a couple YouTube videos that are going to be uploading the next few days. But on Friday, me and Heather are going to be talking about 2000 horror, and then I have a watch along with Chris Snyder of the House of Wax watch along, and then I'm interviewing Lydia Mantis, who's going to be playing Batgirl in the upcoming film Batman: The Killing Joke. Can't wait to see their interpretation on it. It's going to be really dark, not the animated one. Something really good.
God, that was so terrible.
And then I got Sledgehammer Horror on the 17th. We're going to talk about the top 10 horror games of all time. And got something else coming up on the 26th I can't talk about yet. But
Gotcha.
Damn.
Mhm. How about you, Mr. Danner?
I'll still do the Disney movies, I swear. Oh no, I'm at that point where I've just got so much that I want to do. It's like, okay, I'm committing to this and I'm committing to that. I will say, because I mean, we do have a new Batman movie coming out, but regardless, I think I am going to turn my attention towards some of the anime movies. I've had the clue right here. I want to do the Red Hood.
Yeah.
Like, that's an ad movie I'm definitely going to review.
Yeah, that's
probably
good.
Also, probably the Dark Knight Returns, because that was a great one.
Yeah.
And of course, Mask of the Phantasm, because
of course,
that is one
yeah.
of, if not the best anime Batman movie. But
I love that one.
also, just because it's been a long time, I might do a bad movie too, because I think more people are entertained by those ones, because that's where I just get the
that's where you can talk
where I
about
get to have fun. Just
Get it, tear it apart. Yeah.
But is it good bad or is it bad bad? We'll see. I'll think of some. I do have a bad movie in my collection. I haven't even watched yet, but I've heard of it. And the scene actually did become kind of a meme. Have you ever saw a scene where those two guys are on a beach throwing a frisbee, and then the guy has the one with the fucking razor blades in it?
What the fuck, Richard?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's that movie. That's one I still need to talk about.
Damn.
Holy shit.
Damn.
Well,
I might have to do that real soon.
Sorry about that. But it turns out that next Friday, the 11th, Special Agent Carter Sauce's Magic Projector is proud to present episode 2. And guess what the movie we're choosing?
Wow.
What is it? Let's see.
What is
South
it,
Park. Bigger, longer, and uncut.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
Better than what you have. Better longer than what you have, Carter.
I find that movie very anti-Semitic against Canada. I'm offended.
Anti-Semitic against Canada.
It's anti-Harry.
I don't know. I'm just throwing buzzwords because that's what people do now.
And since it'll be my second episode, any of you guys are interested to watch along?
We'll see.
I would have, but I got to stream that day, Carter.
Damn it. But you're all welcome to drop in the chat, say hi, and all that sort of shtick.
Well, that's the beauty of not having a channel yet. I don't have a schedule. I just go with the flow.
Oh, yeah. and also in 2 weeks, me and Nick Cooley will be talking about the movies that define the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So.
Ooh, nice. That's a cool one.
Yeah.
So lots of big stuff.
List.
Lots
Great
of big
decades.
stuff
Great
coming
decades.
up. As for us, we did just post our first Patreon exclusive review. We're reviewing the Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles TV series. And so far, from what I've heard from the Patreon supporters, they've enjoyed it. So you can find, I think I'll be doing a lot more movie reviews and TV show reviews on there, at least for the older things, because I always had this mentality that I don't want to just jump on the bandwagon of things that people have already done. Like, I'm going to be doing a collab series with a few other channels reviewing the Halloween franchise leading up to the new Halloween film, Halloween Ends. And, those reviews are going to be a lot more short because how many people have already talked about the original Halloween,
Lots.
Just go to Killer Flex. You'll see every single review ever written.
Oh, yeah. There you
go.
go.
Halloween, you'll find a lot of many of them.
But, yep, exactly. But, with Patreon, it allows me to do those reviews because it's extra content. I want to focus more on what's happening now for the most part. I haven't watched the new Scream film, and I'm going to be honest, I really haven't had a desire to. I enjoyed the first film. 2, 3, and 4, kind of like, they are what they are. But I mean, I'm hearing a lot of good things about the new Scream, but I don't know when I'll be able to see it. But I mean, eventually I'll get to it someday. But for now,
there's something that'll make your eyes roll. I'll tell you.
Oh yeah,
that,
there will
but,
be that. Yeah, we'll just say that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I already know what it is because Bacon and I were talking about it, and I don't want to spoil it because Carter probably might not want.
Carter will kill us all.
Yeah, he'll probably want to see it for himself. But if it's the scene, if it's who, I think we all know what you're referring to. The scene.
He has the murder weapon.
I already know stuff I wouldn't want to say, but I don't
spoil
want
for
to
me,
spoil
and I will kill you all if you spoil it for me.
Yep.
I'll cut your ass.
Okay.
Actually, on that movie, actually, the projector had decided to
Bring
do
it.
the wrong film.
Whoa!
The Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah. Fortunately, the projector decided to put the wrong film in. This was actually Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie from '95.
Wait, so you're gonna be doing Power Rangers instead of
South Park?
Mhm.
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't have any access to it though.
Carter,
Okay.
if you're ever gonna do South Park, I'll come on whenever you want to do that.
Okay.
Just so
But
you
yeah,
have a
so-
guess.
Let's see. There's no more comments there. Does anybody have any final parting words for our audience?
Nope.
No.
Use your fucking brain. Don't be stupid.
Yeah, be smart.
No
Don't
shit.
listen
Don't be
right?
stupid.
To all the
Be a
lies and
smarty. Come
bullshit.
and join the Nazi party.
What?
what
No.
the fuck?
What the hell?
Join the
Before-
Canadian
Take that,
truckers.
boo.
That's
Just
the party you
Just
need to join.
that
Yeah,
was,
Canadian
freedom.
truckers. There you go.
just kidding. That was from the
Honk,
producers.
You're gonna get us canceled, Carter,
Great.
because of your comments.
That movie, though.
Just FYI, that was from the producers. Mel Brooks film.
Yeah, but nobody cares because context doesn't matter
Beautiful,
because
man.
the facts don't
Bunch
matter
of
to
pussies.
many of these people.
They just
but
get offended
before-
over
Damn
everything.
pussies.
But I just real quick before you say something, Caleb. I was going to say, let the independent filmmakers and all the content you guys do. You're the new parliament around the planet. Remember that. You're the
Yeah.
new ministers of parliament. You are the ministers of entertainment. You own that parliament.
The Ministers of Entertainment. That sounds like a really cool name.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but before we log off, I just want to thank Kyle and Danner for coming on tonight. It was great having
Always
you
a
guys
pleasure.
on.
Thank you for having
Danner,
us.
you're pretty much a regular on this show. You're basically our fourth co-host at this point.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling people. Like,
And
yeah,
Flett
I
Lives.
think it's safe to say I'm unofficially the fourth guy.
Why don't we make you the fourth guy? Fuck it. You've been on enough of these episodes. We'll consider you the fourth co-host.
And I definitely come on when you want me on again.
Yep,
I'm
I'll
happy to
let
be.
you know.
Um,
Absolutely.
And of course, there's always going to be content. That's the funny thing about this series, The War on Pop Culture, is that there's always a new controversy that pops up, and then we just have
Every
to talk
week,
about
every
it.
day.
It's
Yeah, I mean,
too
every
easy anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Snow
No shit,
White,
right?
Joe
They're
Rogan,
giving us the
Whoopi
bullet. They're giving us
Goldberg.
the refull.
I mean, I'm just waiting for the next big thing to happen. And it's like, yep, episode 8 of The War on Pop Culture, so and so gets canceled because he decided to say that gummy bears were the default favorite movie theater snack.
Gummy bears.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay, yeah, I'd cancel whoever that is. Who the fuck chooses
Yeah, who
gummy
the
bears
fuck said that?
Those
over
are
Sour Patch Kids?
Those are Haribo.
There you go.
Haribo gummy bears.
No. Here's a quote you can take home with you. People. Here's the quote.
Oh my-
And I heard this from the Flick Pick, but I'm gonna quote him. People are like Sour Patch Kids. We all come in different colors, but we all taste just as good.
There you go.
There you go.
First we're sour, then we're
Skin
sweet,
color
and
shouldn't
next
mean
we're
nothing.
gone. Then
Yeah,
we're gone.
exactly.
That was beautiful.
So, with that all being said, thank you guys very much for watching, listening, and supporting. Again, thank you to Kyle and Danner for coming on, as always. And with that all being said, until next time, my fellow investigators, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the war I'm Special Agent Spooky Clutter.
I'm Special Agent Carter Sauce.
Special Agent Dr. Richtofen.
And until next time, fellow investigators, remember,
The entertainment is out there.